CRO Spotlight. Today, a new episode. And with this series, we want to investigate what's going on in the crypto space, especially from a risk management point of view. As I mentioned, today is a new episode. And we have with us Anton Golub, serial crypto entrepreneur and influencer, someone who has been in the space for a while and I'm sure has a lot to share. So let me welcome him. Hi, Anton. How are you?
Hi, Alessia. I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for inviting me. And it's a pleasure to be together here with you today and looking forward to an exciting discussion about risk and risk management in crypto industry, but hopefully beyond as well.
Yeah, definitely. And by the way, I know that now you are also here in Dubai, so we are in the same city, just connected from two different locations. But that's great. We're both enjoying the sunshine.
Yes, definitely. And technology is bringing us closer together. And looking forward also to seeing you in person very soon, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Same for me. Well, a very interesting week from also risk management point of view, considering what very recently happened with Silvergate as well. But before going to talk about news, let's start from you because we want to present our contributors first, our editors, you're part of the team. So I'll ask you as a first question, a background on yourself, on your career. What's your story, Anton?
So my story begins, I would like to say that, a long time ago in my previous life, I was a trader at a hedge fund in the foreign exchange markets, which was a great experience being at the intersection of financial markets, technology and finance. So I really enjoyed that. Having said that, I had a very visionary boss at the hedge fund, Richard Olson, who was a pioneer in finance and did a lot of pioneering work in finance and financial markets. And he kept on telling me about blockchain technology, about this new thing called Bitcoin, and that's coming, in the next years. And I have to say that I was at the right place at the right time, in a sense that I co-founded the second ever crypto company in Switzerland together with Richard Olson, called Liquor, with a vision to build a digital asset exchange in a nutshell, where people could trade various different tokens representing whatever we have in mind. And back then, it was a big success story that I was co-leading the company for 5 years. It was a fairly big success story, meaning literally scaled the company from 2 people to 200 people, offices over the globe. We did many different things beyond just the crypto exchange. And then I did an exit early 2018 from Liquor. And reflecting on what to do next, there is something magical that happens the first day when you launch an crypto exchange. You learn how important is liquidity. So kind of taking those learnings and challenges that we had objectively scaling the exchange, seeing it as a big opportunity actually, because actually every exchange out there, every token out there needs liquidity. Launched a market making company called Fluff Technologies, or Flufftech. Was leading that as a CEO for 5 years, and did an exit of summer of last year. And now what I'm doing is I'm advising family offices and crypto VCs who are entering to the space, or crypto VCs who are already in this space and need support with deal flow, due diligence, and things like that. And this is a little bit in a nutshell my story.
Yeah, well, Anton, what to say? Very, very interesting career. You cover many different areas, so that's great. So then, what motivated you to become an entrepreneur in digital assets and enter the crypto space? You mentioned your previous boss, but is there any other motivation behind it?
Yeah, so definitely the fact that it was actually in the space of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, that was really due to the reason of Richard Olson, because he was the visionary who saw that coming very early on, mentored me, took me under his wing, to say it like that actually, and made me a part of the story of Liquor. So that was definitely his contribution, a big one. I have to say, maybe on the bit more on the personal private side, it's actually due to my father. So my father, he also ran you can call it like a family business, but fairly big company in Croatia, where I'm originally come from. And he was always telling me that I will love it the most, when I have my own business or my own company. And that's something also that motivated me to not see launching a company or launching a business as a risk. Obviously, it's a risk, it's a bigger responsibility, but also it's a great opportunity to contribute, to the ecosystem, to the society, to whatever you have in mind. So I have to say that was what kind of motivated me, pushed me to dive into, creating startups, because I kind of felt this is natural way forward due to, my father's feedback for many, many years while I was younger.
Well, that's amazing. A very nice story. Thanks for sharing it with us. You also qualify as an influencer in the space with 10,000 of and more followers and over 1 million impressions on your posts on LinkedIn alone. And one of your signature series is Crypto Shadow Banking, which is analyzing very closely the FTX bankruptcy and all the actors involved. Can you give us an introduction to the crypto shadow banking, why it is an issue, and a summary of what happened with FTX from your point of view?
Yeah, so thank you very much for the kind words. Also, I have to say, I'm writing a little bit on social media and looking to grow that forward. And so far, it's been well received. So I'm very, very happy for that, especially because the topic of crypto shadow banking is something that even most industry experts and have not really been in touch with or don't really understand well. So also gives me a big opportunity to present kind of what I have seen in the crypto industry. Now, the easiest way to explain crypto shadow banking is actually to say that shadow banking in general means conducting banking activities like borrowing and lending without actually being a bank. So this is what is referred to as being a shadow bank or doing shadow banking activities. Okay. Now, to kind of try to understand that a bit closer, obviously we understand that every bank per se can do borrowing lending. This is actually a basic activity that a bank does. But what makes a entity or a company a shadow bank or shadow banking activity is actually that you are not a bank actually when you do shadow banking, when you do borrowing and lending. And that also means that there are no safeguard mechanisms in place that are usually set upon banks to mitigate the risks around doing borrowing and lending as a non-bank company. So if I'm a shadow bank, for instance, that means, I would do a lot of borrowing and lending, and maybe I would borrow from professional institutional investors, then lend out to whoever needs that capital. But for instance, maybe I would not have regulatory oversight when I do that. I would maybe not have strict risk management defined by the regulator when I do that. And maybe most importantly, I would not have huge or substantial capital requirements when I conduct borrowing and lending. Why do we maybe need capital, when we conduct those activities? Because obviously you can have failures or somebody cannot repay their loan. And how do you then actually cover the losses from them? It's usually from capital requirements. So to summarize, shadow banking means that you are behaving like a bank, but you don't have the burdensome of being a bank. And that's obviously very attractive as a business model, because it means you can be highly efficient, highly profitable, because maybe don't need to have billions of capital on the side to cover losses objectively from borrowing and lending. And you also don't have to have hordes of people in compliance and risk management and all of these other parts of the business, which you would have to have as a bank. Now, I explained it actually as shadow banking because shadow banking was not invented by the crypto industry. It actually existed in the so-called traditional finance long time ago. Shadow banking is one of the culprits of the 2008 financial crisis, but also many other issues afterwards. The crypto shadow banking refers to it just that it was done in the crypto industry, and maybe to now be a bit more tangible. Typical crypto shadow banking player is, for instance, like someone like BlockFi. BlockFi was literally taking in assets from retail, but also professional institution investors, and in the back lending it out to, let's say, proprietary trading firms and hedge funds, and promising a yield to the people who have supplied the capital when they did that. So this is a typical. Now, referring to the saga around FTX, was FTX doing crypto shadow banking? So just to explain what happened, I'm not a judge, I'm not a jury in the case of FTX, but what it seems has been happening is that literally FTX was taking on retail deposits, retail assets, giving it to a proprietary trading firm that's very close to FTX, and then that proprietary trading firm, in a nutshell, literally just lost all of that money due to dubious reasons. So I think that's, you can view that, okay, maybe there was borrowing lending happening, but I think, like, in a nutshell, it seems like it was a pure scam. So
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of a difference there.
Well, but do you think that in this case, like, a proper risk management framework in place would have prevented this disaster and other disasters that we saw in the industry lately, the recent year?
Yeah. So when we talk about risk management, there's as you know very, very well, risk is actually defined in several different ways. So you have market risks, finance risk, operational risk, legal risk, and so on. So I have to say that in context of FTX, I think the risks was that there was no segregation between the client's assets and also the assets of the company, or what the company does with those assets. So the risk management, mechanisms on a basic operational level were not in place in the context of FTX. Yeah. Now, if we're talking about crypto shadow banking, risk management would absolutely have helped us a lot, because, again, from what it seems now, the information that we're getting, there was not a lot of awareness around what kind of, if I'm taking, let's say, assets from retail, promising them yield and giving it to a proprietary trading firm to do what it needs to do with that assets as a loan, it was maybe not clear understanding from a risk perspective how that proprietary trading firm is going to make money, such that I can actually, return the yield to the retail investors. So I would say there is a big lack of risk management. It was a big lack of risk management in the crypto shadow banking ecosystem, which means it's an amazing opportunity now, because the awareness is very high, and I'm sure there will be a lot of solutions coming out very soon.
Well, we also hope for that, and we are also here to, give stress the importance of adopting risk management solution within companies and proper risk management framework. Looking back at 2022, characterized by major crashes of industry leaders, what do you think the lesson learned and the top takeaway?
Yeah. So from my perspective, just to say, is something that we have to be highly aware of the crypto industry, that it's probably the most cyclical industry in the world, meaning you have those big ups and then you have your big downs. Yeah, exactly. And we are now in down, objectively. Yeah. And also, like I just mentioned, this is my third bear market, or crypto winter, quote unquote. So when I started in 2013, a few months later, Mt. Gox blew up. I don't know how many people of your viewers remember it. It was the biggest crypto exchange back then with 90% of volume, blew up, and then nobody wanted to, after it blew up, nobody wanted to talk to me for like a year and a half, crypto related at least,
Stay away from me.
Yes, they're like, I don't want to hear this crazy stuff that the crypto industry is doing. So, but I think, like, what I can kind of reflect back and kind of say, what do I see is, okay, you have huge cyclicality, and then big bull runs and bubbles, objectively, in many different shapes and forms. But I have to say, what the takeaway is, that actually maybe the last bull run that we had, I mean, just that happened year and a half ago, was very much driven by liquidity, in a sense of enormous amounts of borrowing and lending happening in the background that fueled this massive bull run. And, without proper risk management and proper, capital in the back to offset, the risks and the losses when they happen, obviously then, since we didn't have that, we had also now severe crash. I think also now, thinking of forward, I think we're now of, due to many different reasons, of a big risk of a regulatory crackdown, which will not have help the industry in the long term. So this is something, that's coming from US, where the regulator has taken a very aggressive stance. But, crypto industry, by its innovative nature, I think there is a regulatory crackdown, just means that everything will go offshore, which is not in the end good for the client, because offshore the governance standards, the risk management, and so on, is a lot less strict or aware of the reality than if it would be, in US or in Europe or in Asia or in UAE, for that matter.
Yeah. Well, Anton, thank you. Like, you're sharing amazing insights with us, and I'm loving it. To close, because I know we are running out of time, I want to ask you, my final question is, of course, we are really excited to have you on board and can't wait to work together in the coming months. What do you expect from this experience and the crypto risk office community?
Yeah, so first, from the Crypto Risk Office community, I have to say that I'm really excited to learn, because when I see the people and the individuals involved, I feel I could myself, but also that the whole ecosystem can learn a lot. I think the topic is timed to perfection. So such a huge awareness around the need of the risk management in crypto. So I think it's going to be very, very exciting. And also what I look is that actually we as a team, as a community, produce something very tangible that both the industry and the regulator can use going forward to improve risk management in the crypto industry. So I'm very excited. No worries.
Well, thank you very much, Anton, for this interview. It was great to talk to you. Lots of insights you share with us today, and I'm looking forward to talk to you again very, very soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alessia. It was really a pleasure, and I'm delighted to be a part of crypto risk management community. And
well, bye, Anton. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.